Number 5 is by far my favorite idea and really something that clicked in my brain as a unorganized human. Studies show that 54% of Americans feel like their house is overwhelming and cluttered, and 78% of those people don't know or have any idea how to tackle that and make it any better. So today, if that's you, it was 100% me. And that's how I know that with these next 5 strategies, we can actually start tackling this clutter and starting the journey of creating a home that we love to be in all of the time, but also a home that just makes sense for our needs and our families. So let's start with the first one. Often people have said, including Marie Kondo, that does it bring you joy? The idea of, do I really enjoy this item? Am I going to use it over and over again? And if it brings me that sense of joy, then I should keep it. Well, that doesn't always work, right? I've had you guys on this channel several times mention that everything brings you joy. So if that was the case, I'd get rid of nothing. And I get it. We all have those things in our life that we are decluttering where we might just say, well, I like or love everything. So why would I declutter it? I want you to start shifting your mindset away from that idea and onto something that I think is going to help a lot more. And that is the simple idea that if you have a space like a closet or a room that feels overwhelming, feels too claustrophobic and cluttered, then you have to declutter that. You don't need to look at every single item and ask whether you need it or whether it brings you joy. If it doesn't fit, if it cannot have a home, then you have to figure out how you can declutter that area. Now, this seems very general, but it helped me a lot with decluttering a lot faster in my home. Now, where finding joy in certain things has helped me as well, the idea of you might either love or not like a whole category of things. But just because that's the case, it doesn't always make it easier for us to declutter it. But if you look in a space and you say, okay, this box, closet, bin is exploding and it's not functioning for what I need, I have to declutter this area. It's not a matter of joy, it's a matter of necessity. You have to start looking at your things a little bit differently when you get stuck like that, because if you constantly can't get over the idea of I find joy in everything, then you need to start switching to, okay, it doesn't matter if I really enjoy it. It matters, is it too overwhelming for me? I like to think about it also as your threshold. I have a very low threshold. It's just the way my brain works. And for most of my adult life, I was overwhelming my senses with having way too much for me to have to clean, to organize, to get it together. So I didn't organize anything. I never knew where things were supposed to go, and I constantly lost things. But when you start changing your ideas of figuring out what is my threshold for a certain room, a closet, a bin, and if it exceeds that threshold, I have to declutter it. Number 2 is a great idea to go with the first one, and that is to start thinking about the word container, like our boxes and baskets that we have around our house, and really getting down to the root idea that container, the root is contain. And to switch that idea that often I felt like I just needed more containers. I needed more boxes. I needed more baskets. And finally, my home would feel organized. That's not the right way to go about it. And if you are doing that right now, you are probably feeling like your home is never going to be organized because you just never have enough boxes. It's the same thing that I did for years. And finally, changing this idea really helped me. So when you have a basket, like the ones I have in my bathroom, if it starts to explode out, like the medicine basket I have, if I have medicine coming out of the basket, doesn't fit, the lid doesn't shut anymore, I know that I can look in that basket and some things have to go. I'm not going to buy another basket, even though I have room for another basket. I'm not buying another one because that is my threshold. That is the amount of baskets in that area that I can personally take care of and feel responsible for without feeling anxiety, without feeling like I am not in control of my things. And so having a container in an area is great, but if you are thinking about it of constantly, oh, I have 100 markers, they don't fit in this one container, so I need to go get another container, it's going to be really difficult for you to find an organizational idea process that works for you because you're constantly looking for the best new container as opposed to thinking about what the real idea of a container is. And that is to contain the items that you absolutely necessarily have to have. So finding your favorite 20 pens or 30 pens or your favorite dishes and having a space just for them and not allowing yourself to rationalize why you should keep so much excess. Instead, if it doesn't fit in the container, it doesn't need to be in that space. It doesn't need to be in your home, and you do not need to be in charge of it. As somebody who is a naturally messy person or somebody who tried really hard but could never find the right system for myself, these 5 ideas changed everything. But if you haven't yet joined the email list, I'm going to put it in the description below. Lots of fun freebies are coming out in the next couple months. And I also have some exciting news. So you're going to want to make sure that you stay in the loop. But also, if you haven't subscribed and joined this community, then go ahead. And I would love it if you would join us here. And as always, throw a heart emoji down below if you are already decluttering here together. So let's go to number 3. And that is a different idea as well. This idea is don't take everything out. And okay, so here's when you're going to use this idea. Often I would listen to Marie Kondo. I love the lady, right? She's so sweet and she has great ideas. So what would happen is that I would take out in the beginning all of my books or all of my clothes. And then I would, of course, get tired and overwhelmed. And then I would be stuck with all of these things scattered throughout my home. And I would feel very overwhelmed. I would feel very anxious and stressed out that I had all these things out. And I didn't know or have the energy to deal with them in that moment, right? I just became, it's like the electrical wires frizzed out, right? And I couldn't keep going. That often is what we can feel like. And we either stop decluttering altogether, or we never want to get started because we're afraid that that's going to happen to us and we're going to get overwhelmed. So instead of that, have 2 bags. One can be a black trash bag and the other one can just be your decluttering box or bag. Some great ideas can go along with that I will share in another video, but having those 2 bags and decluttering the areas you need around your house without taking everything out. Now, I have lots of great ideas about decluttering throughout that process, and I will go and expand into more of that, but let's go to number 4, because number 4 is going to help you decide where you should declutter first, and I love this idea. So number 4 is I want you to declutter the most visible area in your home. That is counterintuitive to a lot of information we found out there, right? But this will give you the biggest initial boost. If you are having a hard time even getting started decluttering or feeling motivated, pick something that is immediately visual. So where are your guests coming in? Where do you come in when you walk in the front door? Is that area well organized? Do you feel welcomed when you come in the door? That is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck if you start in a place that is highly visual for yourself and for others. Grab those 2 bags and start somewhere where you are going to get a good dopamine hit every time you see it. Now, while I say that, it's great to declutter your junk drawer. It's great to go out to the shed. It feels awesome, right? When it's done. Those places that are often hidden, but often very cluttered. But it's not going to give you the same kind of dopamine hit day after day after day like it would if you decluttered your entryway or your entry closet or your living room. Those areas are going to give you a high amount of that happiness kick that is going to help you continue on decluttering throughout your next month, next year, and your life, because you see how helpful it is to have that area decluttered. You're going to realize that this is a habit that I can continue. I hope you're getting a lot from this very short video. Number 5 is by far my favorite idea and really something that clicked in my brain as an unorganized human. And that is to stop clutter shifting and to also stop procrastinating. And so hear me out. I really connected with the idea that a lot of us are not well organized people. It is not in our blood to be highly organized. And even if we are highly organized people, that often we have a hard time because we have so much stuff that organizing it, even though it's possible for us, still looks crazy, still looks overwhelming. So the idea that we're constantly moving around our clutter was something that I very much connected to, because I was somebody that often would put piles of things and move it from the table to the living room to finally I'd find a corner in my room, and I'd be moving this stuff that I really didn't know what to do with, right? Like it would often find its way finally in the end stages in the basement, and I would just throw it down there because I didn't have to look down there very often. And it was just in a constant cycle of moving it. And so I didn't have to actually make the decision to get rid of it, how to get rid of it, or not to get rid of it, and to find it a home. That, if you are finding that you are constantly moving around your clutter, that is something that I want you to really identify what you keep moving around and decide, am I going to be able to find a home for it today? And if not, then it is just clutter. That also goes with the idea of procrastinating. Now, this thought goes with those things that we aren't actually going to get rid of, but we don't deal with them when we need to. For me, the biggest one that I was procrastinating with on most levels of my life was my clothing clutter. Now, I would do the laundry often on the couch while I'm watching TV. Then I'd bring it upstairs. It would be in the basket for a day or two. Then I might take it out and put it on the nice chair in the corner that I used to have in my room. And then it would eventually maybe go into the drawer, or I would start digging through the pile and pick it out and wear it again without ever actually putting it away where it needed to go. When we do that, we are putting signals in our brain that we don't need to take care of these things, that we're just going to push this stuff to the side and not deal with that. And as a queen of procrastination, and my husband will say he is too, this was something that was very difficult for us to break the habit of. Because when you constantly leave things around your house at all times, you never really feel like your house feels organized and clean. It's just a constant state of a little bit messy, or a lot of bit messy in my case. So identifying those habits that you haven't been able to kick yet, making it easier for you to deal with them. So for laundry, for me, what I had to decide is that I can't do laundry while I sit on the couch and watch a show. I have to take the laundry upstairs, put it on my bed, and fold it on my bed, because then it's right next to the containers. It's right next to my daughter's room, so I can immediately put it away, and I don't have something else like TV distracting me. It was something that was very hard to kick, but it did really help me to cut that bad habit out of my life. Identifying where you are procrastinating, what are the things that you keep leaving out, and then what is a system that you could put in place that might be able to counteract what our natural habit would be. All right, friends, these are 5 extremely simple ideas, but honestly, really changed my life and helped me a lot to identify what I was doing that was the habit that I had to break, but also identifying that it wasn't my fault that I was so unorganized. It wasn't my fault that I couldn't keep my house together. I just needed to declutter. I just needed to identify some areas and build in some new habits. And once I started doing them, it's amazing how you see one good habit starts, it builds on itself, and you start seeing some real benefits pretty quickly if you start making those hard changes. All right, friends, if you enjoy learning about minimalism, then please check out this video right here. You're going to absolutely love it and learn some more. But also, if you want a whole journey and you want to watch a few more, then join right here and you'll be able to see a whole category of decluttering videos. All right, friends, I will see you guys again very soon.